How does this one relate? How does this compare?
Well, obviously it's a major slide that's impacted a community. Very, very sad situation, as you are aware, that's going on, and so we're here to ensure that there's safe access for the emergency responders to get into the area, and we're limiting access in order to ensure that we keep people safe.
And do you live around here? Are you from here?
I'm from the state, but I don't live around here. I live in the area of Olympia, Tacoma.
Okay.
But I'm the chief of the patrol, so I have personnel stationed here as I do all over the state of Washington.
And as a resident, what are your thoughts on the hills and the terrain when it comes to landslides and it comes to just the geology around here?
Well, it's a beautiful area, as you well know. Again, I mean, it's Washington State, it's the evergreen state, so we get quite a bit of rain, moisture. And from time to time, nature's going to take her course. So that's what we're experiencing.
And you experience that quite a bit, though. I mean, it happens monthly, weekly. What would you say?
No, I wouldn't say that it happens monthly, weekly. But from time to time, as an agency, we're dispatched to deal with, be it rock slides, mudslides. Again, in our passes, we deal with snowy conditions, which sometimes creates small avalanches that we have to go out and deal with.
Michelle, do you have any questions?
I can just ask a final question, which isn't toward the slide thing, but your troopers were some of the first people on scene.
That's correct.
Have you talked to the ones who were there? Obviously you have to be happy. These guys were heroes. They went out and did
Actually, I'm very thrilled. I've spoken directly.
Wait, can you talk to me?
Sure.
Oh, sorry, just
I'm very thrilled with the actions of one of my troopers, Trooper Oliphant, was one of the very first responders to arrive on scene. In fact, was helpful in rescuing a small child on Saturday, shortly after the slide occurred. So he did a fantastic job, as he's been trained, and put himself in harm's way in order to ensure that that young child was brought to safety. Very, very happy about the outcome in that particular situation.
And what are your thoughts knowing that you have these type of people on the roads when situations like this do happen?
Well, we're an agency with a motto of service with humility, and surely, you know, he lived up to our motto of providing service with humility, and he put himself in harm's way in the interest of another human being. So I'm very proud of him for having done so.
Michelle, you have anything else?
I think that is there anything, any message you would like to have out that we have? Obviously, we have an.
Well, our hearts obviously go out to those impacted by this. I'm very thankful for the hardworking rescuers. We've got a lot of police and fire personnel here, along with other rescuers who are working in some very treacherous conditions. And we're very proud of the work that they're doing, and we thank them for the risk that they're taking in carrying out this difficult task.
Chief, if I may.
Yes.
Sir.
So much has transpired.
Thank you.
So much has transpired in these relatively few short days.
Yes.
So many events that one day you're going to step back and pause probably and try to remember everything. But can you remember that moment when you first saw what the damage was? And did you first see it in a photograph and video, and then did you ultimately have a visit to the site by air or foot?
I did. I was shocked to hear about it when first notified, and as I gained more information about the scale of it, it really began to sink in that this is a major, major event. In flying over the site with the governor to respond and do an assessment, then you begin to see the magnitude, the enormity of the situation. Quite shocking.
Thank you. People often say with events that are catastrophic that unless you actually see them yourself, there's no way the television can convey the extent of what's taking place. Is this one such event?
This is one such event. For me, you know, I've been in this business a long time. This takes me back to Mount St. Helens. I responded to Mount St. Helens as a trooper when that event occurred. I was actually there shortly after the eruption of Mount St. Helens. And this brings back a lot of memories of Mount St. Helens to me.
Do you find yourself, I don't know how much time you actually have off the clock right now, being in your official capacity and given a crisis of this magnitude, but have you had moments to pause on your own time and and try to absorb everything that's been happening here?
I have. You know, my wife and I have had conversations whereby we're giving real thought to the number of people that have been affected by this. It's a large number of folks. And so your heart goes out under those circumstances to people who've been personally impacted by this, relatives who are worried and very concerned about the loss or the fact that their relative or loved one is missing. Your heart goes out to people under those circumstances.
Is there one thing that perhaps you would like to take advantage of to share at this opportunity that you wish would get out more often, or maybe hasn't even gotten out at all? A lot of the same messages, and they're very important, do get repeated. But is there something that doesn't make it into the the limited available news report, so to speak?
Well, you know, I want the folks to know how hard the first responders are working, and the tremendous risks that they're taking in order to do their jobs, to try and ensure that if anyone up there is alive, that they get to them as soon as possible, and that we do the best job we possibly can in quickly recovering those that have been lost in this situation. Very tragic situation.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. My privilege.
Hi,
Yes, ma'am.
Beth Lee said it's a debris field that's a mile wide, and they're trying to clear it. Have they even started to think about clearing the road, or that's?
Well, they're thinking about it, but no action has been taken at this time because of it still being a search and rescue operation.
And so are they moving, I mean, as they move debris out, because I was trying to look at the map, where are they staging the material? Just because it's such a big space.
It is a huge amount of material that is going to have to be relocated. I know that the State Department of Transportation is already making plans for what to do, when, and where to relocate that debris. They have an enormous task ahead of them.
What about the highway? Are there any plans in the works or considerations for alternative routes or reopening this?
There's a lot of talk at this point in terms of recognizing the need. The issue is first trying to deal with the emergent situation at hand, and then from there look to plan for determining whether or not the roadbed is completely destroyed and the need for an alternative route. What's the best location for attempting to make that happen? But you first got to go in there and get a lot of the debris out of there. A huge undertaking.